What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what the heck happened in NIO share price today and the overall market, why we got a big pump followed by a bit of a dump as the day went on. We did see the market sell off, so I want to break down why on earth this happened, how Russia and Poland did play a big role in this, what the news is saying about them, and also what you should be watching for tomorrow. Before I end this video with a very important tweet from NIO that came out that's very bullish news as well for the long term. Now, before I break anything down about NIO, before I talk about what's going on with the overall market, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. The best part is any could be a free Tesla share, a free NIO share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. It's been extended to about 2 weeks, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was up about 3% for the day, kind of outperforming the market, but I want to break down what happened. So if we do this, what I could do is I could actually take NIO and do a comparison between how NIO moved with the overall market. So we can actually do like the QQQ next to it. And you will notice something very interesting. So on the QQQ, you could see how this affected NIO. Basically, we had this big gap up. What did NIO do? Big gap up. All right. We come down a bit, just like how the QQQ came down. Then we get a nice bounce. I mean, the market looked like it wanted to continue running. It was looking pretty strong for the most part. Just like this, NIO pushed up all the way back down to about $12 or very close to that. Then all of a sudden, we had this big sell-off, big drop on the QQQ. We went all the way from, what is this, the 292 zone all the way down to about the 286. So big sell-off. We got knifed pretty quickly. Then we got a nice balance we actually held as the day went on. Just like NIO, big drop. It wasn't as significant, but then we got a nice kind of like push as the day went on. So overall, you guys can see the connection between the NASDAQ and NIO. They are very related in many ways. And I want to break down why we got that big price action like this. So first off, the market got a nice pump. Why? Because PPI came out, like I mentioned to you guys. I predicted that it would be less than expected, and this would actually cause the market to pump a bit. And what happened, that is what exactly happened. We saw the PPI report come out lower than expected, which means that producers and wholesale retailers ended up getting prices lower than anticipated. So their prices that they charged did go down a bit, and their inflation rate was a little bit lower, right? So that's a good sign because that helped the market push up a bit temporarily. Then we saw a big sell-off. Why did we get the big sell-off? Well, the first thing is the market was kind of choppy because of some Fed speakers, but then this massive piece of news came out that basically a missile ended up hitting Poland, and it did cause 2 people to pass away. It's very unfortunate. My condolences go out to all the people that were involved, all the people affected. It's very hard to hear things like this. And the news was talking about how it was Russia that was involved. Russia was responsible, this and that. And honestly, guys, it's just not a good situation whatsoever. I really don't like to talk about war, but one thing that is relatively good for the markets is the fact that the Russian defense ministry denied that Russia was actually the one that did it, and they look pretty fixated on not escalating the situation. So the reason why the market did not like this, the reason why this is bad, is because this news could lead to a big escalation that would be very bad for markets, economies, and so on and so forth. However, if Russia does not want to escalate the situation, if this kind of like cools off, that's going to be better for the markets. It's going to lead to more certainty. It's going to improve many situations, and that is what the market is looking out for. At the time we're recording this, there's still lots of uncertainty about whether or not it was Russia, and I don't want to make any claims about that, but what we need is for more leaders to step up and start talking and kind of cool off the situation, cause people to stop panicking. But like I said, this could have been very dangerous. I'm just hoping that this does de-escalate. I think things should really cool down from here, and that's what I'm hoping for. It's going to be better for the markets. If things get worse, right, just hypothetically, so far, the data and the news articles are not suggesting that, but let's just say hypothetically it gets worse. It's going to be horrible for the markets, guys. I just want to be as blunt as possible, but so far that's not the case, all right? As far as NIO goes, this thing is doing pretty well. We did outperform the overall market to some degree. We are starting to see the price-price ratio go up. If we compare it to the QQQ, it's even better, I believe. Right here, Compared to the QQQ, it is starting to push up just a little bit. There is one thing that's a little bit different though, and that's the fact that China Renaissance downgraded NIO's buy rating to a hold rating. This means that they're incentivizing people to just hold onto NIO. They're not saying to buy like before, and that's a-okay, guys, because there are other analysts that could say the opposite of things. There were instances where many analysts were saying, for instance, sell AMC, and yet that thing has been actually pumping a bit as of recent. So they're not always going to be perfectly right, but some of them are not necessarily, they don't necessarily have the same views all the time. Now, another thing about this is the fact that they never said to sell or give up on you. They just said to hold for the time being. This may have been because of global situations and also some anticipation of more Fed speakers. On Wednesdays, NIO is green about 55% of the time. That's a good sign. And overall, the short interest has been on a bit of a downtrend as NIO is starting to pump up. Now, when it comes to the future, guys, I also want to note that we have more Fed speakers for tomorrow. I think Larkin is going to be speaking very soon. He's notorious for being pretty hawkish, so I wouldn't be surprised if the markets see more volatility, maybe some downside going into like maybe Thursday/Friday. But until then, the market does have some potential for another maybe push up into open, followed by maybe a sell off as time goes on. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, on SPY, all right, what I'm essentially seeing is if you look at the daily chart, SPY looks like it has potential to still retest this upper trend line. Now, the odds of it happening quickly, like from before, are actually going down because there is still uncertainty. There's still so much going on. So I can't guarantee it's going to happen super quick. It could still happen very slowly, but we have to see how the news kind of develops and how we really go forward from here. So if the global situations are very bad, guys. This whole rally could actually get killed. But as of right now, there's just more uncertainty, so we don't truly know. Now, I am anticipating a nice pump into open because if you look at the last few days, we tend to get a pump into open followed by a bit of a sell off. This was basically how the market moved over the last couple of days, right? Nice pump. Then we got a small sell off, just like this yesterday. And then today, big pump followed by another sell-off. So I do believe this trend could continue. We might see the market push up a bit, but I do believe there's going to be another sell-off tomorrow because of the fact that we have Fed speakers coming out. There's uncertainty about Russia and Poland, and the whole situation is just madness. I mean, it's just insane. And I hate to say it, guys, but I do believe we're going to have kind of a sideways day tomorrow in the markets. There's just so much uncertainty because when you look at the daily on SPY, this overall candle has like wicks on both sides, and this candle just looks very uncertain. It's not like picking a direction very clearly. It's just in the middle. It doesn't know what it wants to do. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how this really plays out. But I do believe we're gonna get a small pump into open, followed by a bit of a sell-off as time goes on. I believe the QQQ is gonna follow that trend, and as a result, on NIO, I think it's gonna have a very similar trend as well. So on NIO, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing gets a pump tomorrow and NIO actually pushes to about the $11.66 zone. Maybe go a little higher. Maybe we can actually touch 12 again. It's very possible. But then after that, I anticipate another sell off just like this. I don't know how extreme the sell off will be. It depends on the news, guys. It depends on what is said by the Fed. But please be prepared because if NIO does come down and this thing breaks below 11.35, this thing will likely fill the gap and come all the way down to about the 11.2s and maybe retest 11.17 or even lower than that. So I just want to prepare you guys for that. I know it's unfortunate. I know you don't like to hear this, but this is what the trend is showing us, and I do anticipate a sideways day, and I want you guys to be prepared. So for tomorrow, I predict NIO is going to have a nice push up into open, and it's not going to be too strong. Probably, I don't know if we're going to get to 12. Maybe we'll get stopped a little bit before then. Then we see a bit of a sell off as time goes on. We might just fill this gap, maybe or maybe not. But I do anticipate just some sideways action back and forth here and there. I do believe NIO is going to try to hold 11.17. And if that doesn't hold us, so this zone right here, you could see this was actually holding us up for quite a bit of time. NIO formed a double bottom yesterday, but not just a double bottom, a triple bottom actually over the last couple of days. But if NIO breaks below like 11.18, 11.17, this thing is likely going to retest $11. Please be ready, guys. I mean, it's not NIO's fault that this is happening. In fact, NIO is still a very strong company because if you look at NIO Global, they actually stated the fact that on November 6th, right, they have their 1200th power swap station was officially opened. To me, that's incredible. That's very, very amazing news. I'm very bullish on NIO because of this, and I can't wait for what the future holds. With that said and done, thank you all so much for listening. Please remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.